So I have to agree that every time travel show sooner or later has to do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. But alright, so we're going to time loop, like Groundhog Day. I think personally Stargate did it better, and they do reference even that with the fun montage and all sorts of stuff with Star Trek too.
Welcome to the heart of the stories we tell. My name is Rob, and tonight I will be reviewing
Legends of Tomorrow, Episode 11. Here I go again. So I have to agree that every time travel show sooner or later has to do the time warp again. Let's do the time warp again. But alright, so we're going to time loop, like Groundhog Day. I think personally Stargate did it better, and they do reference even that with the fun montage and all sorts of stuff with Star Trek too. Okay, maybe that wasn't as funny as I had planned it to be, but either way, we're going to talk about episode 11. Here we go again. But before we do, I want to talk about something about last week. With Martin Stein dead, we don't have Firestorm, but we still have this character. We still have Jax. And now that they're talking about the different elemental totems, I'm wondering if he's going to pick up the fire totem, because there was a time when Firestorm was a fire element. It was Stein and he looked different, but there's no reason why they couldn't reuse the special effects and just have Jax. I mean, they don't really use the special effect for transmutation anyway. And like I said, over the years, there have been lots of versions of Firestorm. And right now, I really feel like the team is missing him. Partially because he is partially the soul of the team, and also because, to be honest, with Constantine only showing up another time or two, and all the enemies that they've acquired that Damien Dark has put together, I don't even want to think about what the Legends are going to do to try to fight them. They're just way too underpowered. But before I go too far into theory crafting and reviewing of this episode, let me tell you what I do here. What I do is I review stories as they come up, movies, books, TV shows, comics, mostly TV shows because they're the most numerous. And then I break them down like this, and I do theory videos every Sunday and Throwback Thursdays every Thursday in order to review older ones. Right now I've got a contest because I've hit 100 subscribers. I'll link it at the end. But if you haven't subscribed yet, click here now, and let's get started talking about the Legends of Tomorrow. It had one thing that annoyed me, but for the most part was a good episode. But before we get into that, let me throw this up there.
So once again, it's stop. Spoiler time. Ba-da-na-na.
I'm not going to say that there are no repercussions to the episode. I'm not even going to joke about that, because there really are. I mean, the last 10-ish minutes showcased exactly what the repercussions were. But at the end of the day, this was still a ship in the bottle episode, and it was very clearly all in her mind. So it's kind of like a dream sequence episode. And yeah, we could make bad allusions to whole seasons disappearing in other shows. This was only one episode, and again, they did showcase the actual ramifications, especially for her. But okay, let's forget that it was dream sequence. Isis is caught in a Groundhog's Day loop, and the loop is entirely centered around the team coming back right as she fries the circuits of Gideon. The team was on some sort of 70s disco thing, and the actual plot revolves around her finding out more and more and getting closer to each member of the team. It's actually a pretty cool episode because we do get so much fun interactions. We find out a little bit more about how the knowledge of what Sarah might become is eating away at Ray. We find out that Amaya and Citizen Steel are still really in love and exactly what that means. And we also find out that Gideon is still totally shipping Sarah with the leader of the time agency. And I will admit they do make a good couple. And I kind of laughed when Ray said, no, the captain's a closer. Yes, she is. In fact, just last week, maybe 2 weeks ago? No, I think it was last week, I compared her to Captain Kirk with how many women she slept with. But at the same time, she also slept with Constantine, so, So the Groundhog Day thing continues, and we also get a pretty fun thing where she goes off and does the same thing they did in Stargate. Oh, I'm going to take this loop off, and I'm going to just go and have fun and do whatever. And her fun and whatever wasn't quite as meaningful as the character who had already had 5 or 6 seasons to build up things to do, but at the same time, it performed what Gideon wanted. It made her want to become part of the team. Now, specifically, besides Groundhog's Day, Ray references Cause and Effect, the episode that Star Trek did when they were in their time loop. And to be honest, I don't think this had much in common with that. That wasn't the same thing, and in order to break that one, we needed a message sent through, where this one was again all in her head. So this was much more Groundhog Day. But all in all, DC is knocking it out of the park with the second half of this season, even though the first half was I love the way all the characters interact. I love the little Easter egg for the Hawks that we haven't seen in forever. And I especially love that Sarah's big worry is if she looks too hard for a loophole in time, she's going to spend her time going nuts trying to save her sister. Over on Arrow, we've had some fun with the fact that there is a sister back, it's just not that sister. And like I said up top, I already know that Constantine's coming back for at least one more episode. I'm hoping it's going to be 2, because he's going to play a role in handling the whole mollusk situation. Now, we know that the Ashante amulets are in some way, shape, or form tied to mollusk, and that we're going to need them, which that alone is enough reason to hold on to the air one and not want to let Isis off the ship. But at the same time, like I said up top, the question becomes, where are the other ones? Are we going to see other famous DC characters? Maybe a Swamp Thing cameo? Or, well, I don't know. I mean, we did Constantine, so it's not like we can't do magic, but at the same time, I'm not quite sure Swamp Thing fits in here. I'd love him to, though. And Animal Man, but Animal Man's really just a Maya, too. And I already know that the Wave Rider crew is getting a little bigger. I was actually told that for next season he'll be a regular, but at the end of tonight's episode, we got to see the person that is going to come up for next week's episode. Wally West, Kid Flash. Rip Hunter's the one that recruited him, so he's not part of the Wave Rider crew right now. And I don't think that actually Wally has interacted with Rip at all because of when the crossovers happened. He's only very limitedly interacted with anyone from the Wave Rider crew. And one last thought. Am I the only one that actually wants to read Mick's book? As a writer myself, I can appreciate the clicker-clack of the keys and the way the words fall on that page. And I really would love to see. It would be funny if they released it as like a little add-on for the show. But what did you think of tonight's episode? Did you think it was more Star Trek or more Groundhog Day? Or maybe, like I think, a little more Stargate? Either way, don't forget I have that contest coming up. Don't forget to like and share this video. And of course, subscribe, because if you want to be part of the contest, you need to be a subscriber. I'll link it here at the end. But even if you don't win an Amazon gift card, come join the fun. Talk to us about superheroes. Tell me, what would you like to see happen in Legends of Tomorrow? How about, do you want to see Wally West and Constantine stay on the show regularly? I think that they're both fun characters. And don't forget Constantine's getting a CWC series. For now, though, I hope you have a good night, and thank you for walking with me through the heart of the stories we tell.